Listen to me. Success does not come to the ones who wait. It does not come to the ones who hope. It does not come to the ones who talk about what they want to do. It only comes to the ones who force themselves to show up again and again, no matter how they feel. Consistency is not a gift. It's not something you're born with. It's something you fight for every single day. You think you can rely on motivation. Forget it. Motivation is weak. Motivation comes and goes. One day you wake up excited, the next day you feel tired. If you wait for motivation, you'll never make it. What you need is discipline, and discipline is built by forcing yourself to do the work even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it, that's when it counts. I don't care if you're exhausted, if you're busy, if you don't feel ready. Force yourself. Get up earlier, stay later, push harder. You want to build strength. You want to build a business. You want to build your dream life. Then you need repetition. Every rep, every set, every practice, every day it stacks. It compounds. That's how you win. People say it's hard. Of course it's hard. That's the point. If it were easy, everyone would have what they want. But they don't, because when it gets uncomfortable, they stop. When it's painful, they quit. But not you. You will force yourself to stay in the game. You will force yourself to keep going when the voice in your head tells you to stop. You will silence that voice. You will prove it wrong. Consistency is about creating momentum. At first it's heavy. At first it feels impossible. But every time you force yourself to show up, the wheel turns. Slowly at first, then faster, and soon nothing can stop it. You will look back and realize that all those small daily choices, all those days where you pushed yourself when no one was watching, built something unshakable. Don't expect perfection. Expect discipline. Don't expect comfort. Expect pain. Don't expect applause. Expect silence, because consistency is forged in the quiet moments when nobody is clapping, nobody is cheering, nobody even knows what you're doing. But later, when the results come, when the strength shows, when the dream becomes reality, then everybody will see what you already knew, that you forced yourself day after day to stay consistent, and that's why you won. So stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Force yourself to be consistent. That's the only way. Discipline over motivation means you must understand that waiting for motivation is the greatest trap you can fall into, because motivation is temporary. It is fleeting. It is an emotion, and emotions change with your mood, your environment, your circumstances. One day you wake up feeling inspired and ready to conquer the world, and the next day you wake up tired, drained, unmotivated, and the mistake people make is they allow those feelings to dictate their actions. They give permission to their emotions to decide if they will work toward their goals or not. But champions, winners, achievers do not operate like that. They know that success is built on discipline, and discipline is the muscle you develop when you force yourself to do what must be done regardless of how you feel. It is the decision to get up when your body screams for comfort, to put in the work when your mind gives you 1,000 reasons to stop. It is the steel in your spine that says, I will not break, I will not bend, I will not skip today. Motivation is like a spark. It gives you fire for a moment, but if you rely on that spark alone, it burns out quickly. Discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire alive day after day. Discipline is the structure. It is the system. It is the relentless repetition that turns actions into habits and habits into results. Think about it. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every leader you admire did not rise because they waited for motivation. They rose because they built discipline. They did the work even when they hated it. They followed the plan even when it bored them. They stayed focused when distractions tried to pull them away. And that is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. When you rely on motivation, you will always be inconsistent. You will always start strong and fade out. You will get excited about a new goal, push hard for a week. Then when the excitement dies, you stop. That is the cycle of failure. Discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline anchors you. Discipline tells you that the alarm rings at 5 a.m. and you get up no matter how warm the bed feels. Discipline tells you that your workout is non-negotiable. Discipline tells you that your practice, your study, your work must be done because it is your standard, not your option. When you live with discipline, you no longer ask yourself if you feel like it. You no longer debate with yourself. you act automatically. You execute because discipline has become who you are. Discipline over motivation also means you understand that your goals don't care about your feelings. Your dreams don't care if you are tired. The world doesn't care if you are unmotivated. The only thing that matters is whether or not you did what you said you would do, whether or not you showed up and followed through. And when you build discipline, you create trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that your word is law, that when you set a goal, you will pursue it relentlessly. This builds confidence, it builds identity, it builds the character that no setback, no obstacle, no weakness can shake. People think discipline is a prison. They think it is about restriction, but discipline is freedom. Discipline frees you from laziness, from procrastination, from inconsistency. Discipline makes you unstoppable because it removes the choice. It removes the question. It says, this is what I do. This is who I am. And that clarity gives you freedom. Freedom to succeed. Freedom to grow. Freedom to create the life you want. Because you are no longer controlled by the ups and downs of emotion. You are controlled by the iron will of discipline. Every time you choose discipline over motivation, you are building strength. Every time you force yourself to act when you don't feel like it, you are creating a stronger version of yourself. And over time, those decisions pile up. They create a foundation that nothing can shake. So remember, if you want results, if you want to transform, if you want to rise above average, you cannot depend on motivation. You must train discipline. You must practice discipline. You must force yourself to live with discipline until it becomes second nature. Show up every day, because greatness is not built in one big moment of inspiration. It is built brick by brick through daily action, repeated over and over until it becomes part of who you are. Most people think success comes from a few massive efforts. They think it's about one breakthrough, one lucky chance, one big opportunity. But the truth is that success is created in the grind, in the quiet hours when no one is watching, in the moments when you choose to show up even when you don't want to. Consistency is the secret weapon, and showing up every day is the foundation. That consistency rests on when you show up daily, you create momentum, and momentum is the invisible force that pushes you forward when motivation has died. Momentum is built by the discipline of repetition. Showing up every day means making your work non-negotiable. It means that your goals are not wishes but commitments. You treat them like promises written in stone. If you decide to train, then you train every day. If you decide to build your business, you work on it every day. If you decide to learn, you study every day. There is no skipping, no waiting until you feel ready, no giving in to excuses, because every day you show up, you are building something greater than skill. You are building identity. You are becoming the type of person who can be trusted to follow through, the type of person who delivers, the type of person who gets things done regardless of circumstances. It's easy to show up when you're excited. It's easy to show up when you're rested and motivated. But the days that count are the days you don't want to, the days you're tired, the days you're discouraged, the days when nothing seems to move forward. Those are the days that separate the committed from the casual. Those are the days that carve out champions. When you drag yourself forward anyway, you are sending a message to yourself that you cannot be stopped, that you will not be controlled by weakness, that your goals mean more to you than your comfort. And when you do this long enough, you create a pattern, a rhythm, a relentless routine that becomes impossible to break. Showing up every day is how skills are sharpened and how mastery is formed. No one becomes great by practicing once in a while. No one builds strength by training once a week. No one achieves their dream by working only when it's convenient. Greatness is the result of compounded effort, 1,000 small steps repeated without fail. Think about the athlete who trains every morning before the sun comes up, the writer who writes every day whether they feel inspired or not, the entrepreneur who builds their business one call, one meeting, one decision at a time. All of them understand the same truth, that daily effort compounds into unstoppable results. When you show up every day, you also destroy the habit of procrastination. Procrastination feeds on inconsistency. It thrives when you give yourself permission to delay, but when you condition yourself to show up daily, procrastination loses its power. There is no delay. There is no waiting for the perfect moment. There is only now. There is only action. And that action creates results far greater than any plan that was never executed. Showing up turns your dreams from ideas into reality. because action is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Showing up every day also trains resilience, because not every day will be perfect. Some days you will fail, some days you will stumble, some days you will not perform at your best, but showing up regardless teaches you that perfection is not required. Persistence is. Success is not about flawless execution. It is about relentless consistency. The habit of showing up ensures that even on your worst days you are still moving forward. Even on your weakest days you are still in the fight, and that steady movement forward, no matter how small, is what separates those who achieve from those who quit. The truth is you cannot control the outcome, but you can control your presence. You can control whether or not you show up, and by showing up daily you give yourself a chance, you give yourself opportunity after opportunity, you create the environment for growth and breakthroughs to happen. You may not see results immediately, but every day you show up you are planting seeds, and eventually those seeds grow into results so massive that people will call you lucky. They will say you had talent, they will say you had opportunities, but you will know the truth. The truth is you simply showed up every day and refused to stop. Push through discomfort, because everything you want lies on the other side of pain. Growth does not come from comfort. Comfort is the enemy of progress. When you stay comfortable, you stay the same. Nothing changes, nothing improves, nothing evolves. The body and the mind are built to adapt only when they are forced beyond their limits. When you lift a weight that feels heavy, your muscles tear and rebuild stronger. When you solve a problem that challenges you, your brain rewires and becomes sharper. When you face a fear that scares you, your spirit becomes braver. Discomfort is the signal that you are entering the zone of transformation. It is the proof that you are stretching beyond what you thought possible. Most people run from discomfort. They avoid pain. They avoid struggle. They avoid challenge. They live in a bubble of safety and convenience. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why nothing in their life changes, why their goals stay dreams instead of reality. They do not understand that comfort kills ambition. Comfort is a slow poison. It lulls you into mediocrity. It convinces you that where you are is good enough, but deep down you know it is not. Deep down you know you are capable of more, and the only way to reach that more is to step willingly into discomfort, to embrace it, to make it your training ground. Discomfort comes in many forms. It can be physical pain when your body is tired but you push for one more rep. It can be mental exhaustion when your mind wants to quit but you force yourself to keep going. It can be emotional struggle when doubt, fear, and insecurity try to hold you back. It can be sacrifice when you give up ease, entertainment, or short-term pleasure for long-term success. Every form of discomfort is a test, and every test you pass makes you stronger. Every time you refuse to quit, you are rewriting the story you tell yourself about what you can endure. The truth is discomfort is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is the fire that burns away weakness. It is the hammer that forges strength. It is the mountain that builds endurance. If you can reframe discomfort in your mind and see it as proof of growth, then you will no longer fear it. You will chase it. You will seek it out, because you will understand that without discomfort, there is no progress. Without discomfort, there is no breakthrough. Without discomfort, there is no greatness. Those who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who lean into it, who learn to thrive in it, who build their lives on the foundation of struggle. When you push through discomfort, you also silence the excuses that keep most people trapped. Excuses always rise when pain arrives. Your mind tells you it's too hard. Your body tells you it's too much. Your emotions tell you to stop. But when you refuse to listen and push anyway, you prove that excuses are lies. You prove that your mind underestimates your strength. You prove that you are capable of far more than you imagined. The moment you push past the barrier of comfort, you unlock new levels of resilience, and that resilience becomes a weapon you carry into every area of your life. It is important to understand that pushing through discomfort is not a one-time event. It is a lifestyle. It is a daily practice. Every single day there will be moments when you are tempted to stop, tempted to take the easy way, tempted to escape the challenge, and every single day you must choose the harder path, the path that stretches you, the path that hurts, because that path is the one that changes you. The more you walk it, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the greater your capacity for success. until eventually discomfort no longer scares you. It becomes familiar. It becomes fuel. Think about it. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who lived in comfort. They are the ones who endured long hours, sleepless nights, painful failures, humiliating setbacks, endless sacrifices. They suffered, but they kept going. They pushed through the discomfort again and again until they built the strength, the skill, and the resilience to rise above everyone else. That is the pattern. That is the formula. There is no greatness without struggle. There is no victory without pain. There is no achievement without discomfort. So when discomfort comes, do not run, do not complain, do not quit. Recognize it as the sign that you are on the right path and push through with everything you have. Silence excuses, because excuses are the most dangerous enemy standing between you and the life you want. They are invisible chains that hold you back. They sound reasonable. They sound logical. They even sound comforting. But in reality, they are lies you tell yourself to avoid responsibility. Every time you say you are too tired, too busy, too old, too young, too broke, unlucky, you are building walls around yourself, walls that block you from growth, walls that protect your comfort zone, walls that keep you trapped in the same place year after year. Excuses are easy. They require no effort, no courage, no sacrifice. But excuses are also expensive. They cost you your dreams, your potential, your greatness. You have to understand that everyone has reasons not to act. Everyone has obstacles. Everyone has struggles. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the absence of excuses. It is the refusal to listen to them. Successful people have the same voices of doubt, the same circumstances, the same challenges, but they silence the excuses and act anyway. They know that excuses may give short-term relief, but they create long-term regret. Regret is heavier than discipline. Regret is harder than pain. Regret lasts forever. And the only way to avoid it is to destroy excuses the moment they appear. Excuses often disguise themselves as valid reasons. They come dressed as logic. They whisper that you deserve a break, that you will start tomorrow, that things are too hard, that conditions are not right. But the truth is, conditions will never be perfect. Tomorrow never comes, and easy paths never lead to greatness. If you wait until everything feels right, you will wait your entire life. You must silence the excuses by acting in spite of them, by proving to yourself that you are stronger than the voice of doubt, stronger than the voice of comfort, stronger than the voice that wants to keep you small. Silencing excuses requires brutal honesty with yourself. You have to call yourself out. You have to stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that you cannot when the truth is you will not. Stop pretending that you are stuck when the truth is you are choosing not to move. Every excuse you make is a decision to stay the same. And if you want change, you must take responsibility. Responsibility means looking in the mirror and saying the results of my life are mine. My failures are mine. My successes are mine. My future is mine. No one else can do it for me. No one else can fight my battles. No one else can live my life. It is on me, and that truth kills excuses. When you silence excuses, you build mental toughness, because excuses are weakness disguised as reason. And every time you refuse to accept one, you become harder, sharper, stronger. You teach your mind that quitting is not an option, that compromise is not allowed, that weakness will not rule you. You begin to operate with a standard that says, I do what I said I would do no matter what. And that standard builds trust with yourself. It creates confidence because you know that your word means something. You know that you will follow through, and that trust in yourself is the foundation for every achievement. Excuses also love to multiply. One excuse leads to another. If you accept one, you will accept 10. If you skip one day, you will skip many. If you give up once, it becomes easier to give up again. That is why you must be ruthless in silencing them. You must cut them off at the root. The moment you hear the voice of excuse, you replace it with action. No debate, no hesitation. Because the longer you argue with an excuse, the stronger it becomes. The only way to beat it is to move before it can convince you, to act faster than the doubt, to push forward before comfort takes over. The truth is, you will never eliminate challenges. You will never eliminate struggle, but you can eliminate excuses. And when you do, you take back your Power, you become unstoppable because there is nothing left to hide behind. You are exposed, but you are also free. Free to pursue your goals with full force, free to take risks, free to fail and learn, free to grow without limits, and that freedom comes only when you silence the lies and accept total responsibility for your actions, your choices, your destiny. Consistency creates unstoppable momentum because every small action you take builds on the one before it. Success is not a single massive leap, but a series of steady steps that accumulate into something powerful. Momentum is invisible. At first it feels slow, it feels like nothing is happening, but the truth is every day you show up and do the work, you are adding weight to the wheel. You are turning it inch by inch until one day it begins to spin faster and faster. Momentum is the force that carries you forward when willpower feels weak. Momentum is what makes discipline easier over time because the habit has been built. Once the wheel is spinning, it takes less energy to keep it going. Most people never experience unstoppable momentum because they quit too early. They put in a few days of effort, maybe a few weeks, and when they don't see results right away, they stop. They never give momentum a chance to build. But if you commit to consistency, you will see how powerful compounding actions can be. Small progress repeated daily becomes exponential growth. One workout does not transform your body, but months of consistent training do. One page of writing does not create a book, but months of consistent writing do. One business call does not build an empire, but years of consistent effort do. The results always come to those who stay long enough for momentum to do its work. Momentum is also a psychological weapon. When you see progress, even small progress, your confidence grows. That confidence fuels more action fuels more progress, and soon you are caught in an upward spiral. This is why consistency matters more than intensity, because consistency ensures the wheel keeps moving. Intensity without consistency burns out. It is a sprint that ends quickly, but consistency builds endurance. It keeps you in the race long enough to win. The more you repeat the habit, the more automatic it becomes, the less energy it requires, until eventually it feels unnatural not to do it. That is when you know momentum has taken over. Momentum does not only move you forward, it also protects you from falling backward. When you are consistent, you build resilience. You build a baseline of strength, skill, and confidence that cannot be taken away easily. Setbacks will still come, obstacles will still appear, but momentum makes it harder to stop. It makes it harder to quit because you have built too much, invested too much, proven too much to yourself. This is why starting is always the hardest part, because before momentum exists, every step feels heavy, every choice feels difficult. But once you have built consistency, the work becomes lighter, the path becomes clearer, the resistance becomes weaker. Think of momentum like compound interest. Just as money grows when invested over time, your habits grow when invested daily. Each repetition adds value. Each action multiplies results of the last. People from the outside may not see the changes right away. They may think nothing is happening, but you know that every day you show up, you are stacking bricks, and eventually those bricks form a wall so strong that nothing can knock it down. Momentum turns invisible effort into visible transformation. It takes patience, it takes faith, but it always pays off. Momentum also creates identity. The longer you stay consistent, the more you begin to see yourself differently. You stop saying, "I want to be strong." You start saying, "I am strong." You stop saying, "I want to be disciplined." You start saying, "I am disciplined." Consistency rewires the way you view yourself, and identity is powerful because when you believe you are the type of person who follows through, you will not allow yourself to break that belief. You act in alignment with who you believe you are. Momentum hardwires your standards into your identity, and identity drives every decision you make. The secret is that once you have built momentum through consistency, you become very difficult to stop. What was once a struggle becomes second nature. What was once painful becomes normal. What was once impossible becomes part of your daily routine. Momentum does not care about motivation. It does not care about mood. It does not care about excuses. It simply carries you forward because you have trained yourself to keep moving. And when you reach that point, you become unstoppable. You have built a force within yourself that pushes past resistance, ignores doubt, and makes success inevitable.